Ready?
I have never been less ready.
Welcome to Zero Hit Points, everybody. It's February 19th. I'm Ryan Miller, and he's ready. It's Matt Amberg.
What is wrong with you right now? Are you sick or something?
This is not a joke.
Are you sick?
I'm trying to see if I can get it. Okay, that's a little bit more normal. Maybe. I think what happens is that I'm trying...
You're putting so much effort into it. That's what's funny right now.
I try to project a little bit more, yeah, when we record, and it's making it worse. I wasn't expecting this myself. It's okay, because this isn't going to be that long, right? You promised.
It's the shortest. Yeah, we're done. That was the show, everybody. Oh, wait. We played video games. Whoopee!
We did. This is that show. We're going to talk about them, and more than a few news items, actually. It's funny, on a week where we're not going to spend a while on any one thing. We probably could have if we wanted to, but...
This whole week could, in fact, be a lightning round.
It could be, and I apologize for fans of the new segment last week, Ryan Springs the News on Matt. It'll be similar, but probably not as good.
Yeah, I'm not looking at the agenda ever again.
We're getting ahead of ourselves anyways. What'd you play this week?
A couple things. I played the Red Dead Redemption. I tried to push through a bunch of that story.
Same.
And I feel like I've gotten nowhere.
What percentage are you at?
I don't even know. I keep forgetting to look. But I think I finally upgraded the camp completely in terms of like the donation stuff.
Yes.
Like, as far as I can get yet, anyways. It seems like we're done. So that's great.
As someone who's 60.2% of the way through that game, yeah, you're probably done. I'm 60.2% sure.
Well, that's excellent. Yeah, so that's wonderful. I bought a boat. That's the last thing that was in the thing.
That was the last thing I bought too. Yes.
Okay, yeah, so we're boat buddies. Cool. I'll see you on the river canoeing.
Yep.
Canoe, old man, river. Yeah, so Micah is a jag, and now I understand why nobody likes that guy.
That was the guy I let rot in prison for like the longest time. Like I started to wonder, because I was avoiding that mission for so long, I started to wonder if it was going to because I progressed through chapters without that mission resolving itself because I wouldn't touch it because I just didn't want to deal with that dork.
Yeah, I
began to think it was going to like I wouldn't be able to complete it anymore and the game would break or something, but no. Eventually, everything else stopped, and it wouldn't progress unless I went and talked to Micah.
Oh, okay. So it literally was your your last resort at a point.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm doing side stuff. I'm doing all the yellow missions that aren't his, and it went on for a long time. Actually.
All the legendary missions are done. You have done. Your guy is 100%. The game is basically done. The only reason you're at 60% is because you haven't finished the story. Got it. Okay. Lots of fun. Great job, Micah. Ruining games for professionals.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he's definitely supposed to be that, and as the story goes on, he doesn't get any better. So,
no, I can't wait. That's fantastic. You've really amped me up for that. Super.
He's used to great effect, if that helps.
No, he's fun in that sense. Like you can see that he's dim-witted and slightly mischievous, but it doesn't seem like he's necessarily doing it on purpose. He's just stupid.
I mentioned last week how I'm getting really invested in Dutch as a character, and I think that's still playing out. Like, I'm really interested in his pathos. But
big words.
Micah is kind of like Dutch if Dutch didn't have the whole... Because Dutch kind of believes his own rigmarole and/or isn't willing to surface it to others. Micah does not. Micah's like, whatever, this is what we are, and this is what that is, and... He's embraced it, and he's not going to make any pretense, which makes him also the complete foil to Arthur, probably even more than John Marston, because Arthur very much is having reluctances, right?
Sure. And
Good point. Yeah, I hadn't considered that beforehand.
You know what? Put that in your pipe and smoke it with your thinking and your...
a pipe feels like it would be therapeutic right now.
It could be. It's like Sherlock Holmes.
I don't know. I've never done it.
Elementary, man. I can't believe they're finally ending that show. What's the deal with that?
Are they finally?
Yeah.
It's been on the bubble for like 2 or 3 seasons.
I think it's finally... Yeah, I feel like I just read something about that. They're done with it.
That's depressing. You've depressed me now.
Well, that's great. Let me depress you further. I don't feel like at the point where I'm at yet, anyways, that John is really a foil to Arthur.
Yeah.
There's like a familial thing, obviously, where there's like, it's like brothers fighting each other and all that. But it's more that at this point, anyways, for me where I'm at, John is just a nuisance than anything else.
Yeah, he's a mess up.
He is.
He's just... And I think they leaned on it more heavily at the beginning. There were some of those missions where you took Jack out fishing and you did stuff for Abigail where you were basically taking John's place in a lot of ways. But then there was also some dialogue after that. And I think it's when Arthur's speaking with John and basically calls John the new Arthur. He's like, hey, I'm the old dog here. You know, they brought you in, the youngin, and you're kind of up and coming. But Arthur's got all this experience. So he's filling in where John's still a flake, basically. Sure. But yeah, I feel like they kind of backgrounded that, and
you might be right. I mean, maybe you're just further along. I mean, you are. Let's not do maybes on that one. Let's just factoid.
I win.
Yeah, congratulations. You're further along, so maybe there's more dialogue in there that you've caught that leads. It doesn't matter. I'm looking forward to how this is unfolding. I like that game. It's fun.
Yeah, the story's still compelling.
Quite.
There is a dalliance that I want to talk to you about. Ooh. You can't be there yet, otherwise you would have an opinion on it right now.
All right, well, there we are.
But yeah, you'll know when you get there.
Okay, dalliances. Mm-hmm. You know what? We will investigate that word on the next 0 Hit Points.
Look forward to investigate. Ooh, hey, I can do a better announcer with this kind of Kathleen Turner here.
Do that in a world.
In a world.
See, look at that. Very good. Also, I played one other thing that you and I did not play together because we played something together pretty heavily.
We'll do that one first.
Yeah, so I'm just going to talk briefly about this because I only got...
WWE Supercard.
Yeah, neon level, baby. Woo! That's my best Ric Flair. Congratulations.
I don't know what that means.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Ric Flair had the best. He took the best bumps in the world. It was great.
Nature Boy.
He sold the Nature Boy Ric Flair, baby.
See, I'm not that bad.
Yeah, he sold He sold things the best, man. He was so funny.
Wait, he bumps. Like
yeah, right in the ring.
Did a lot of cocaine.
I mean, he did, probably, but
That's gotta be true.
Anyway, the other game that I played, very short amount of time. I only got like 4 games in, maybe, was Tetris 99.
Ah, man, I did want to play that. You sent me the link to that. Tetris 99, it's a battle royale Tetris.
Yeah.
And I was like, kind of roll eyes, whatever. Even though it's Tetris, I knew I'd play it. But then I saw some stuff and I was like, okay, I might actually play this.
This right here is your perfect battle royale in the whole way that it kind of falls into play, where you could get Tetrises and like you can wreck people with them too. And as the it gets down to more, like it gets fewer people, it gets way chaotic. You are going to really like this game.
I didn't know it was free either.
When you told me. It is super not expensive. Anybody who owns a Switch could potentially afford this.
What is there's got to be some sort of monetization.
I have no idea. Because you know what? Here's why. I pressed a whole bunch, just went straight through basically, and just was like, where do I play? I just want to play the game. Because I tried to get it done as fast as possible. Because I just did this like 10 minutes ago.
Okay. All right. Oh, is that where you were when I was waiting for you to come back?
No, that is not where I was. However, it was just before that when we were talking about recording early. So,
what did you place?
60th, I think, was like my lowest. Something in the 60s.
Maybe most curious about that because I'm above average, and I don't say I'm above average about most things. So,
wow,
this is either just terrible amounts of hubris, as you'd say.
I don't know, man. I think give yourself about 10 games, and I think you're going to be like, okay,
I'm not saying I'm going to win. I don't expect a win, really.
Oh, no.
There are grandmasters out there that when they come out of the woodwork for it, and I feel like they would for something like this, I'm not getting anywhere past them.
Well, guess what?
But, I still can't T-spin worth a darn.
You'll get it.
But I got some skill. I can do some things.
Yeah, you're gonna get it. I think you're gonna be a champion here. I think this is that one. This is that BR for you, man, where you were gonna play it and you're gonna play it and you can play it in your bed because you could sit there at night. You could take it with you. You're like, hey, I've got to go do a job, and on my lunchtime, I'm just gonna go play Tetris. Oh, cool. Wait, what's going on? I'm actually working. Instead, I'm gonna do this. I just have to hit play on the camera. Whatever, man. I think this is going to be a. I think it's going to be.
What do you think I do exactly?
I don't know. No. Just hit play, right? Don't you hit like or record? You're like, hey, red button.
Oh,
go.
Okay. You do have it right. Never mind.
Sorry, I thought it was play. I am so mistaken. I
will play that this week and talk about it next week.
Sure, let's do that. It'll be fun.
Anything else you wanted to like? Well, it seems pretty simple. The concept and game itself.
So yes, and then there are a couple of other little functions that kind of exist there. They're like badges and stuff, and I don't quite understand how the badges work because we don't need no stinking badges.
So I didn't see that coming. Still
treasure Sierra Madre.
So if I understand correctly from the words that I read,
okay, tell me about it.
The badges have to do with, it's basically loot, right? Because something you don't think of as being a fundamental part of a battle royale game is the fact that you are outfitting, and that's also kind of what funnels people to number ones, is the people that are outfitted better, which I guess of course you think about that when you're playing a battle royale. But with Tetris, this game, apparently, if you, number one, send blocks, right? That's how Battle Tetris has been traditionally either way. You can choose who to send them to, and as you kill people and send them, you earn badges. So basically the remaining people, it also speeds up the Battle Royale aspect to it. Otherwise, you feel like this could go on for a bit.
It can't.
The people with more badges can send more blocks, if I understand correctly.
That makes sense. Yeah, sure.
So towards the end, you get less people, but people with a ton more badges, so it's kind of popping off a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I didn't get far enough to where that was happening, but I certainly got beaten down severely. It's fun, though. I really do truly think that that's a game where you'll go, you know what? Oh, and here's this is right here. I got it.
Okay.
Here's your complete selling point for a battle royale game.
Comes with food.
It's really close. It's single player with no voice chat.
Oh, they're leveraging the power of the Nintendo Switch.
That's right. You don't have to talk to anybody. You get to spin in private by yourself.
Yeah. I don't do that anyways. Don't
you? I can see the hula hoops behind you, Hudsucker.
I need to rewatch that movie, apparently. I mean, I obviously need to. Everybody needs to rewatch that movie. But
yeah, book club for movies Thursdays.
That's true.
Yeah,
surprises are in store.
And then the last game I played, you and I played together a bunch, was a Crackdown Thrace.
Yes.
I want to point out that there was a sale or a deal or whatever. If you buy a month of Game Pass for $2, you get the next month for free.
Okay.
So I went ahead and did that action. See how I like it, because now I found there are 2 games on there I do really want to play, and the fact that I could just download them and play them, I don't know, I might have to do that.
What's the other?
Hellblade.
Oh yeah. That's a good service. Like, I don't care. Like, I want to cancel it because I don't like paying for it monthly, and that's not how I game normally. And at this point, I signed up for, was it friggin' Sea of Thieves? And thought Crackdown was going to come out soon enough on the heels of that it would be worth just keeping it. So I basically had it sitting there not playing a game from it since Sea of Thieves. So Crackdown at this point has cost me at least $60 for sure. So whatever.
Well, you might as well play it then.
The other thing that keeps happening is they keep releasing games that I've wanted to play for a long time that I bought when they were on sale like a long time. Like Senua's I own. And it was like literally every time I open that up, there's like 5 more. And I'm like, dang it.
Yeah. You know what?
Own this.
This might be the reason to never buy a game again.
Or play a game again.
That's what I meant. Let's stop doing this.
No, we can't, because I want to know. I want to have it out about Crackdown 3.
Crackdown. Terry Crews.
We have been on a huge Red Dead kick. It went from being the only thing I should play to being the only thing I want to play. Like anytime I have a spare moment, I'm like, I want to play Red Dead. Like working, I'm like, I want to play Red Dead. Right. I hate this.
I sent you
Red Dead.
Just before we started talking, before we started doing the show, I sent you a text that said something about me selling tonics, and yeah, that's.
Is that what that? Okay, yeah, no, yes, I tell my kids to get quite often. It's great. Like honestly, it's I'm enjoying it.
You're wearing a cowboy hat, which I think is great. It looks good on you.
You cut out. What you think is sexy? I didn't hear what the.
Yeah, that's right. I thought you look like Richie Sambora.
Bon Jovi?
Correct.
Is he a cowboy hat dude?
They're all cowboy hat dudes.
Okay. It's the only thing I know about Bon Jovi I learned from Chris Parnell.
Well, the other thing you should remember about Bon Jovi is they did the theme song to Young Guns 2. So get it together, dude.
Another movie I should rewatch, he says.
Yeah, sure. I guess that's a good one.
What? You don't like Young Guns?
I love Young Guns. They're great. They're super fun.
All right. No, like the concept. You like youngins with guns. Thursdays. If there was any game that I thought wouldn't knock me off my Red Dead kick, it was Crackdown 3. It's another open world game. I knew it wasn't going to be Red Dead's a thing. It's an event. It's a transcendent. It's a this and a that. Crackdown's Crackdown. You know, like
right.
I have completely thrown off Red Dead for the past 2 days in favor of Crackdown 3 and played actually maybe 3 days even. And just played a freaking ton of it.
Sure.
Don't take anything away from that.
Oh no, I know there's another shoe. It's gonna drop here in a minute.
Maybe the good first. How about that?
Well, sure. Yeah, or you could do the compliment sandwich.
Compliment sandwich.
Yeah,
there's the bad in the middle. Okay, all right.
Close.
I am hungry. You're right.
Other direction. It's usually used in terrible ways. I guess no. Maybe that is it. You could go. Yeah, I like to go bad, good, bad, so that the person starts off feeling bad, then they get a rise, and then I get to cut their legs out from underneath them. But you do you.
All right. Well, hey, let's have it both ways. Good, bad, good, bad. The end.
Yeah. I just want to end on bad. That's my thing.
Okay. All right.
Leave the impression.
I forgot. I didn't forget about the orbs, but I think I kind of forgot about how they function. I played Crackdown 1. I skipped Crackdown 2, even though it's literally sitting on my shelf in front of my eyes right now, and I own all of the DLC for it because I assumed I would play it someday.
Sure, why wouldn't you?
I forgot that the orbs also contributed to your abilities.
Yeah, they're literally called agility orbs.
Okay, fair. All right. Now I'm kind of getting, I'm like, oh, like, yeah, it's a collectible, but it's actually adding to the game, adding to your experience in a way.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
No, and I love it. And then that's, the mystery orbs are, of course, they give you extra bonus for XP for everything.
And you can hear them. Like, the whole collection aspect is done really well, and a lot of it's taken from the first game, but you can hear them while you're near them. And
there you go. You're just cracking it down right now with your rhymes.
The announcer will tell you also, he's got a couple lines in there that are like, there's a hidden orb nearby.
Yeah, it's really funny to me that just pops up now and again.
And the same line also most of the time.
Agent, be on the lookout for hidden orbs. I'm like, well, okay, if you know where it is, why is it hidden? Just tell me where it is.
Okay, there is that aspect to it, but I appreciate games that make the collecting integral. Like,
Sure. Yeah,
I don't have to go to the internet to find out where they're at. Like, because everybody's going to do that anyway, especially anybody that cares about it. So yeah, the fact that they can keep it in game, I love it when games do that, and this appears to be doing that quite well.
It's fashion and function. Okay, keep going. What else do you have? I'm curious. I like the orbs also.
How the orbs also contribute to the overall game loop or gameplay loop for me, anyways, is that you can always see the next one you want. Like there are so many still that you literally can just concern yourself with going orb to orb because you can kind of see the next one off in the distance. And what that's turned into for me is that I am doing that, and then when I come across one of the
side missions,
missions, or what would you call those? So it's not getting into the bad stuff yet, but Crackdown 3 is very much a traditional open world game. In the vein of a Crackdown, you could say.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go as far as saying Crackdown is like Crackdown, but we'll see.
The world is broken up into segments that contain boss battles within, and there's like maybe I forget, there's a very Shadow of Mordor looking Nemesis system screen that shows 10 different enemies, maybe like leaders, bosses, mini bosses,
something like that.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like a ton.
And they all control certain activities, so there's like 10 different activities you can do, and each time you do one of them, you collect more intel on the boss that then makes them more vulnerable, although I believe you are able to go attack them at any point.
You can and I think I don't remember if they're on the map or if you just have to know, like somebody
you
says
have to trigger
you have
them. Like if you walk by, it'll put the icon on your map, type thing.
Yeah, I think we did that once actually.
Okay, we did. We did to do the last boss even.
Yes, on it. That was nearly a mistake.
You're like, why do these guys keep coming? And I'm like, I think we're right underneath the final boss.
And then as soon as you said that, I kind of like swung the camera around. I saw a big doorway of her face, and I went, oh yeah, okay, should probably not do this yet.
So how this is all figured into the gameplay loop is that I'm going orb to orb, doing these different tasks along the way, and it's actually that's what's keeping me hooked. That's what's keeping me up till 3 a.m. I think 2 nights in a row on this thing.
Sure.
Just going. It has that feel and that play to it, and it's doing it successfully.
No, I love that. I actually kind of like, it's funny because it's I don't mean it to be reductive, but it probably will come out that way, which I feel like is every time I say I don't mean for this to be reductive, because I don't mean for it to be reductive, but I like the same loop as you do. I really enjoy that. I'm going to search for these. Oh, and then also these missions are right there. It is very much so Spider-Man in that respect too. Just not as good. But it's like that's what I had to do in Spider-Man.
Yes,
I was like, oh yeah, I'm going over here.
those.
Might as well, same with Infamous, same with what was that really good game that we both really liked called Sunset Overdrive? What was that game called?
Dude, I've had shades of Sunset Overdrive while
that was it
for sure.
Sunset Overdrive.
That was it. Yeah, Sunset Overdrive. Was that the one? Oh yeah.
I was. Okay. Glad we're on the same page.
Again, not as good, and not as good is a good maybe indicator for the rest of Crackdown.
Okay.
I think that's most of the good, most of the real good.
Yeah, probably.
It doesn't control real well.
No, it is spongy, and I cannot tell you how much I hate games that give you ledges that you jump your head right into. Like, I hate games that do it, and this game is like, why is everything a ledge?
I haven't run into that as much, but yeah, there are moments when you're scaling, you'll get to an outcropping, and it wants you to do the jump out, jump back over thing. Yeah, which is
fine, except when you've got a ledge or a lip that catches your head, and then you go falling all the way down after you've jumped up 17 stories.
Yeah,
kind of annoying.
And it's just not smooth. Like the climbing isn't as good as any other game you can think of. It's functional, it's serviceable, and you can learn it.
Right.
Like you can game the game at some point, and you're like, oh, well, I know. You start to understand where it's gonna bump off the corner.
It is one of those games that's super idiosyncratic about the controls,
and not on purpose. I would say not on purpose.
No. That is not being reductive. That's just truth.
It very much seems like they've gotten to the point where they were like, you know what, this is good enough. And this has had a troubled development cycle. We know it's been delayed so many times. At this point, I'm curious. Some of those delays in retrospect now seem more along the lines of complete sidelines for different stuff, and which would make sense too, because this was tied in a lot of ways to the whole cloud computing thing that Microsoft was on a kick for a long time. That obviously they are not anymore. Yeah. And we have not got into what that turned into. There's actually a separate launcher for it's PvP, right?
Wrecking mode.
Yes, something like that.
I don't know. I haven't touched it.
Haven't done that. We've done a lot of co-op campaign together.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking back, a lot of the decisions appear to have been, you know what, this is good enough. Like get it to where it needs to be, and then put it out. And Sumo Digital's done fine stuff before, and I'm not saying this is bad. It's just it does have kind of an unfinished, floaty feel to it. Like it's not tight.
Yeah.
It is not tight.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And it's also one of those things where it's very, very repetitive. Like it's very repetitive. And it's fine. Like, some of the things that do make it stand out are of course the powers. The more you play, you can pick up bigger things, throwing cars at people, which is fun. And some of the weapons, there's a ton of different weapons to play with.
I like the feel of the shooting overall. Like, I don't really have much of a problem with that.
Yeah, it's not too bad. The lock-on system is pretty okay. I don't like, and maybe you know how to do it. Is there a way to flick to different targets when you're attacking? Like,
they say there is, but
I don't know.
So this is another thing about the game, movement included. It gets better as you upgrade. Like, I get the feeling they perfected the movement, which they probably should have done this. Like, this makes sense to me. They perfected the super movement first and then kind of worked back from there. Because the more I've gotten orbs and powers, like, I'm now jumping pretty far. And this was the thing about the original games too. Once you got powered up and were just scaling buildings and jumping over them and stuff like that, that game was rad, right? Like, that game got a lot better.
That's where you had you got the power fantasy at like full effect.
Yes. Yeah. I get the feeling that they definitely worked on that in this game and then worked backwards from there. The downside being it's taken me probably 5 hours at least to get to the point where I'm starting to feel it and starting to experience that.
Sure.
And the shooting thing is the same thing. Like, they say early on that you can flick the stick back and forth, but it's way more fun to get powered up enough that I don't even have to worry about that because it'll auto target the next guy once you kill the first guy. So
sure. Yeah.
I couldn't tell you if that actually is a thing because I just hit the trigger and it's zap, 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 zap. I kind of have to target it. Or I'll find myself just bumping the left trigger a little bit so it'll auto lock on the next guy or something like that.
It is fun. The different guns are pretty fun, especially when you've got a whole bunch of people in front of you and you can vaporize them.
And those are tiered also. Like, I've gotten the best guns a little later with my abilities.
Oh.
Like you'll have to check them out. They're pretty fun. Okay. The Singularity Grenade. Worth a look.
Oh, yeah. No, I was there when you got that.
Yeah, and then I forgot to equip it. Otherwise,
you didn't play with it at all. So way to do that.
I was too busy getting orbs,
fighting mechs that wouldn't stop coming. My favorite part of that was I could not for the longest time. I just wanted to leave and I couldn't figure out how to get off of that like little island area. There was like toxic juice everywhere. I'm like, great, I can't get out of here. And then I think somehow I found you, and then you led me to the promised land.
Yes. And I was like, hey, I think you have because also there's wanted levels for each faction.
Yeah, I had like 3 stars on 2.
Yeah, that's what it was, I think. So
it definitely was that.
And I didn't realize that was a thing until yesterday, I think.
Yeah, no.
This was yesterday. Sorry, day before when we were
You mentioned it last night, yeah. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize those were there. I don't pay attention to tutorials.
Yeah, and to be fair, we had been skipping those purposefully, so
yeah,
that was probably our fault. But
well,
it's funny.
Blame the game.
All the stuff I've been seeing on Crackdown 3 is like mediocre. The funny thing is, I think Crackdown's probably always been mediocre.
That's exactly my yes, 100%. And that's why I've said this. If you've ever played Crackdown, this is no different. It's the exact same game.
It's a good one of those. In fact, it's funny because I could see a review coming out of this saying Crackdown 3 is better than its predecessors in almost every way. And it probably is.
Right.
Like, I feel like if I went back and played the first one and maybe the second one, they're the same game as the complaint there, that it might feel pretty similar. Like, it might feel floaty. I would not be surprised in the least.
No. Like I said, I feel like what I'm playing is what I remember.
Yeah. And honestly, that's not only exactly what I wanted, but it's kind of come at a really good time with, like, it's kind of the perfect complement to Red Dead.
Sure.
Like, Crackdown 3 is a game. Like, Red Dead is something it's the absolute evolution of something that Crackdown was, even though Crackdown was always just kind of a mediocre one of those that you still had fun with.
Right.
And I'm still having fun with.
Red Dead is an experience.
Yeah, sure.
Crackdown is blowing things up because it's fun.
And it's working. Like, I'll keep going. And from what you say, it sounds like it might be mercifully short.
That's what I heard. Yeah, I heard it's not a long game at all.
So yeah, I don't know how much more there is to say about it, but I'll keep playing it.
I'll tell you,
still having a lot of fun with it.
I will tell you, I would love to actually have you, and this is just pie in the sky.
Okay.
I'd love to have you pick up a Just Cause game Because
why?
I think you'd enjoy it.
Why?
Because you could blow things up.
Why?
Because you like blowing things up.
Man, it's taken too many whys to get to Just Cause.
Just Cause.
Oh, you did it. You said it's the name of the game.
Yeah, there we go. I got it. I'm behind you.
Okay, I'll think about it.
It's like, and the reason I mention it is because it is so dotted line to this.
Oh yeah, it's a perfect analog. I mean, especially going from the first to what it is now, right?
Right. But I'll say this. I think Just Cause has this game beat in one very simple respect, and that is that you somehow are magically able to fly everywhere because you're Bionic Commando. It's very weird, and I love it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everything blows up. Like that game, oddly enough, I want to bring this up here. This is also another negative, and I'm glad I mentioned Just Cause.
Mm-hmm. Is this the good, bad, good of the bad, good sandwich?
This is
what part of the sandwich is this? Just tell me what part of the sandwich this is.
I think this is the part where somebody is trying to put sardines on something that should not have sardines. Any sandwich, in my opinion, should not have. In any case.
Wait, any sandwich?
Yeah,
you think about anchovies or sardines?
Both.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I think they have their place.
They're too salty.
They are. That's true.
It's just like eating a jar of capers, except in fish form.
Ugh. Okay, now that's all right. Just What were you saying?
Okay, so I'm glad I brought up Just Cause because I am super disappointed in the quote unquote destruction in this game. Like, I realize that they're like, yeah, here all the big stuff is in the multiplayer mode. There's like hardly anything in this.
Oh yeah, that's true. That was the hook too on the cloud computing. There's not even a shadow of that in this, yeah.
Right, and it's like, okay, so I have to go to multiplayer to actually see the buildings blow up and stuff. You don't do hardly anything. Like, there have been a few parts where I've shot at a wall and it blew down, but it didn't look good. Nothing cool happened with it.
No, it's just very standard destructibility, yeah.
Like, that's super, super cheesy to sell kind of that, and then it's just so neutered. Like, and that's another one of those things where I feel like they got to a point and they were like, whatever, we're gonna do this thing, and it's the multiplayer is gonna be really popular. That multiplayer, I guarantee you, within 2 weeks is gonna be tanked.
No, it's not. Yeah, no, I can't imagine. I mean, I am interested to get in there and see what that became, and it is sad thinking about what they could have done, what could have been, maybe because I don't know.
Right.
You're thinking about a single player game where there is so much destructibility to that environment, like entire buildings and stuff like that. Like the game that comes out of that could be very interesting.
Sure.
Which they obviously, would have taken more time to figure out. And that's where things fell apart. So yeah, I mean, I would be interested to get into that other PvP maybe a little bit just to see, but
yeah, I just want to see how the destruction is. Like, is it really as advertised? Because if it is, then that just, who knows? If it's what they've made it out to be, even like a fraction of, and I'm not talking about 4 years ago. I'm talking about that just couple 6-8 months ago.
That's true. They did release kind of a managed expectations thing about that destructibility aspect, huh?
Yeah,
I'm trying to see. I can't even remember the trailer now.
So I'm curious what this all looks like, because I cannot imagine anybody going into this thinking, I want to play this on a regular basis.
Well, given how the game feels in single player, yeah, I can't imagine. It just feels like they've probably put out good enough.
This is if in some ways for me it feels like a Duke Nukem situation.
I mean,
they're not picking
anything will ever feel like a Duke Nukem situation.
No, it's just like it's it feels like a cobbled together version of what they were trying to make, and then they just went, okay, I'm guessing Microsoft said, finish it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get, because Duke Nukem you can play or see being played and be like, oh, that definitely looks like it's been in the hopper for a while, since the 90s.
Sure.
And with that game though, I would, that's kind of how I would want them to do it. Like, I would want them, even though it didn't make for a good game in the end, I like that historical document almost type thing.
Right.
I get a whole lot less of that from this, but there's pieces of it. It's more in the approach that you see vestiges, because I don't think they've ever even come out and walked a lot of that back. They just kind of let it fizzle and then had that trailer. So,
which, I mean, you'd think would be smart, but then gamers are jags, so.
Yeah, I haven't looked to see how this thing is actually being received by the people who enjoy it. If people, all I see are mediocre, shrug. So
it seems like on the Crackdown subreddit, people are enjoying it for the most part.
I mean, it's not crashing. It's perfectly serviceable. It's a Crackdown game, and like I said, I get the feeling Crackdown has just always been mediocre, and that's been good enough. And I mean, the thing you always hear is that it got popular because it came with the Halo demo, right?
Which is true.
There's an element of truth to that. I think Crackdown is competent in its own right.
It's not fantastic. It's not the biggest waste of game. It's totally playable. If you like things like that, you'll probably enjoy this for the most part.
And Just Cause is actually a pretty good analog, like I said, because that did enter the AAA space in a way that they've tried to keep a lot of what it was. I don't think this is a successful entry or type thing of that nature for Crackdown. This is just another one of those. Yeah. How many ways can we say it? Hey, news.
Yeah, let's keep going. Let's do that.
Okay.
Hit me with some items.
Did you play anything else? I'm sorry.
No, everything is dumb.
News, like I said, this week, it's not another Ryan Springs the News on Matt, but feel free to comment as much or as little on any of these things. I just thought they were interesting for one reason or another.
No, I love it. Let's go.
Nintendo had another Direct. In it, they announced several games, but the only three that I kind of had questions or interest in were The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening.
Sure.
There will be a remake for the Switch.
Yeah.
You have an experience with this thing?
Link's Awakening?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I awakened Link one time.
Okay. As did I.
And then he went, whoa!
I didn't play this game, though.
Oh, it's a good one.
Okay.
It looks great.
It does. It looks like what I remembered of it held true was that it was kind of a Link to the Past for the Game Boy type thing.
Yeah.
And this is a complete 3D reimagining of that. And the art looks cool. The screens look cool. So
it looks awesome. It looks like they've taken the current art and then just made it like an old Zelda game, which I'm not going to lie, I support.
So day one for Matt Amber. Got it. The next game they did, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which they announced at the Game Awards. We had a few words on at that point.
Yeah, Captain Marvel, right?
Captain Marvel, they announced for it as well. There is online, I think was one of our questions. You can play 4-player local if you have 4 Switches.
Well, thank goodness.
Hasn't happened to me yet. But you can play online too. We could theoretically get this game and play with each other online.
I love playing with you.
Did you watch the trailer?
Yeah.
I really like the look of this game.
I think it looks fantastic. And yeah, no, of course, we're both going to get this because we just went through Ultimate Alliance.
Well, it's funny because us just going through it is the one reason maybe I won't get this immediately. But I like kind of everything I see about it so far.
I'll tell you why I want to pick this up, and it's because we just played it. And it was one of those games. We played it. Really enjoyed it. A lot of fun gameplay. It's
Speaking of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, by the way. Sorry.
Yes. Sorry. The Dose. Really good game. I like it a lot. I am very, very, very curious if this is exactly the same game, just prettier, or if they've actually kind of improved on some of the controls and some of the switching and all that.
Yeah, I wonder if they have rebuilt this from the ground up. It's Team Ninja, which, I mean, their
confidence is high. You know?
Yeah, no,
I am that, but that is exactly why. Yeah, I am totally curious because of that. So it's interesting that we both have differing things, although it is not interesting because that is generally how you live your life.
Yes, so, we typically have differing things, I feel like.
Well,
he differed, everybody.
Gotcha.
Then they let fly Super Mario Maker 2 coming in June of this year.
I wanted to for so long play the first one, and then it was just not going to happen. This is the one I may have to pick this one up because I just really love these things. They are so novel to me.
I just really want to love these things.
Sure.
Like no game that's had a maker aspect to it has really I don't know, it doesn't click. Like, it's not the thing. I go there for the authored experience, I think, more often than not.
That's what I prefer that, but I personally just like that concept and playing with it a little bit.
I love it.
Those games are amazing to play specifically for other people's authored content.
And I love watching that, like the back and forth with Mario Maker. I loved watching. Like, there was a lot of Kaizu stuff going on which if you haven't seen those videos, on YouTube, or no way, there was a Gamma Sutra on it as well. But it was this, it predates Mario Maker in that people were modding Super Mario levels that were uber hard.
Yeah.
But what grew out of that was a kind of communication between level design and player that actually is pretty funny.
Yeah, interesting.
Mario Maker was a natural complement to that, like, and people started doing that, wherein they'll make, you know, just this crazy stuff that are challenges to people and stuff like that. Yes, always admired from afar. I can't imagine I'll ever pick up this game, but I'm looking forward to seeing more of it and people doing what they do with it. You know,
I gotta tell you though, my disappointment with Super Mario Maker is it seems like Nintendo have become a whole group of cowards and have moved away from the game that's better than this and is similar and is called Super Mario Paint. It's Mario Paint, I mean.
Oh, all right. Now we're talking.
That was the best game. They really need to bring Mario Paint back.
Or make it makeable in Mario Maker.
You know, if somebody hasn't done that yet, I hope they die.
I still got my Super Nintendo mouse. It's like 2 feet away from me.
Okay, so Nintendo Direct, was that it? Are we directly done with them?
We are.
Okay, directly.
More interesting to me, and this is where maybe we could get into the weeds if we wanted, but I won't because I just kind of have a simple statement on this. The actor, and I know actors don't typically enjoy being referred to by their character names, which I am super bad at. Thursdays, Book Club for Movies.
Alfonso Ribeiro.
But Alfonso Ribeiro, who played Carlton on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and wonderfully, I might add.
Literally the only thing he's ever been known for. There's literally nothing
really good
else.
at it.
That's fine. I am just saying the fact that he is still considered a star and that he has done absolutely nothing between that and Dancing with the Stars and occasionally showing up to do his little dance. I don't know, man.
Hey, do you know what he does now? You know what his regular gig is? I see him every week.
I have to assume it's a QVC situation.
You are so close. In fact, when I tell you, you're going to you're going to explode.
700 Club.
America's Funniest Home Videos.
There it is. Really?
Yep.
He's like, how do you go from Bob Saget to somebody else to him?
Number one, how do you go from Bob Saget?
Correct.
Number two, he's going from Tom Bergeron, and there is a way to go from Tom Bergeron. That's the thing.
Sure, Tom Bergeron, not the... I mean, I like his dry humor occasionally. Why are we talking about this?
You know what's weird? I used to hate Tom Bergeron, and he grew on me like the weirdest thing, and now I'm just like, I see him... I think it's because he's self-effacing... You're right. Why are we talking about it?
I don't know. Come on.
Alfonso Ribeiro isn't great on America's Funniest Home Videos is the weird thing. I think he's a good entertainer, but once he gets to anything that host has to do, it's not good. Why this is important?
Yes, tell me.
Is that he's attempting to copyright the Carlton, like a lot of different people. Apparently Backpack Kid is trying to do this for The Floss. And Millie is a rapper with a full name that I don't know, who's trying to do this for his...
Milton Bradley.
In fact, the rapper might not even be named Millie. The dance might be Millie. I don't know. Fortnite has apparently co-opted a lot of these things, just brought them in willy-nilly, and people are looking to either get paid or, and this is where I would side with them, looking to get some sort of recognition. Dance moves are not copyrightable, and this is where the one thing I would have to say about this, I don't think they should be, honestly. I hope what a lot of these lawsuits are trying to do is build a framework wherein artists can get paid for stuff they have created. I don't think copyright's the way to do this. I think obviously our copyright law is outdated and it's turned into a bunch of just horror shows across the board.
Sure.
And copyrighting dance moves would just add to that, in my opinion. Like it's just
and him getting denied by the Copyright Office was a victory for everybody.
Yes. And number one, he doesn't have enough money. Like the corporations have done enough damage to okay, you're right. Why this is important is that he has been denied and he is still seeking recourse, but I just hope they can find a middle ground where Epic doesn't steal stuff, because they are still stealing stuff, and artists don't have to further break the copywriting system, which would just make it harder for other artists, right? If any time somebody choreographed the Carlton, they had to pay Alfonso Ribeiro for it, that's not good either. That just
that's infuriating, to be honest with you.
That's stupid.
The amount of money he has currently is infuriating. So
I feel like he doesn't have much, and you're saying it's too much. Okay, I just want to make sure we were. He shook his head, everybody. He confirmed.
Yeah, hey, look, Dancing with the Stars, give me a break.
You're not a fan?
No.
See, what happens is when he has to speak to the winners of Funniest Home Videos, and they're still the stupidest videos. The stupidest videos always win.
Yeah, it's always
America's Funniest Home Videos. You know this.
Does
anybody disagree?
It's that episode of The Simpsons where the Oscar winner or whatever for the Simpsons for the Simpsons movie festival is the Jasper getting, or I think it's Jasper, somebody getting hit in the nuts with a football.
Oh, did that? I thought Barney won that year.
No, I think, well, maybe he does. Either way, old man getting hit in the nuts with a football.
Right? There are so many funnier videos than the ones that win on that show.
Like old man getting hit in the crotch with a football.
I don't know how we transition to this next news item, really.
Just
except
jump.
for maybe the kick in the crotch. Blizzard has laid off hundreds of people after, and this is why you don't do this in an earning call, saying they had a record year. Yeah. So...
And we're going to go ahead and give our bosses and our CEOs bonuses. Also, looks like we got to fire a bunch of people.
The estimate is 800, given how many people they said they employed and how many people they said they're cutting 8%. So somebody did the math.
Sounds like it's pretty easy math.
And they said it was non-development roles for the most part. So I don't know. Do you feel better?
Yeah, and this is messed up in so many different ways because, like you said, hearing the earnings call and then not telling anybody, so they all kind of, I think it was Schreier reported that people were sitting in the parking lots crying and hugging because they had no idea if they were going to be fired that day or that week, and yeah, man, it's just.
And there's a bunch to it if you want to read up on it. Like they mentioned Destiny and how that split did happen because it wasn't meeting sales projections. It wasn't making enough money for Activision.
That is, again, just such a fascinating ride to me.
And they mentioned specifically they didn't own the underlying Destiny IP, and that figured into their decision.
Sure.
They weren't going to have the control over it to Call of Duty it into the ground, as it were.
Right.
So
we can let Bungie continue to do that themselves. Way to go, Bungo.
So yes, condolences and heartfelt emotions for everyone that lost their jobs.
Just sucks.
As much as I would like to lose 2 to 3 of my jobs, it's can't be good.
No.
One thing that might be a silver lining, we'll find out in a year.
Okay.
Is that on that same earnings call, they mentioned how Call of Duty underperformed, Black Ops 4 underperformed.
Yeah.
And in the same breath or sentence or paragraph, I don't really know, it mentioned that the next Call of Duty is going to have a campaign.
Probably a good idea.
I think so, because that's why I buy the games.
Right.
That's my favorite part of them. So silver lining for me, maybe, but I think it is interesting that they gave it a shot, no campaign, and this is what happened after. I guess I don't want to read too much into it because also they're still rotating between 3 different studios, and if there's a campaign now, likely it's been in development probably before Black Ops 4 even came out. So
yeah, I think this is interesting too because he says Dennis Durkin, Activision CFO, said the company doesn't anticipate sales of the 2019 Call of Duty being as strong as 2018's Black Ops 4.
Right. Because they've been down year after year. So far, Call of Duty's on the down. Yeah.
Call of Duty units are down year over year in our outlook. Do you know why they're down year over year? Maybe that's why. Maybe don't release Call of Duty every single year. Maybe give it a year off. Maybe don't do what Ubisoft is going back to doing, which is going to, again, it's going to blow up in their faces again. It is.
Number 1, you're crazy. Number 2, I don't think they're to that point yet, where it's worth taking time off to make more money on the end. Number 3, I love how every year Ubisoft's like, we're not going to make Assassin's Creed this year. They just release 2 or 3 old ones.
Again, last week, just what a body blow.
Yeah. They should not release Call of Duty for a year and release 2 or 3 old ones.
Yeah, there you go.
Modern Warfare 2, let's go. That was rumored a while ago. I'm sure that's probably somewhere you backed off on.
Yeah, get back on the horse, idiots.
Get back on the horse, idiots. 0HITPoints.com. That's all of the show we have inside of us for today.
Welcome to town.
Welcome to town. I like it, but I don't understand it.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Okay. Now I feel like we're trading on Die Hard.
We're trading it. Book club for movies on Thursdays. Podcast at 0HITPoints.com.
Speaking of book club, you may be under the impression we're going to do Brick. Not you, but maybe you.
Well, I was under a lot of impressions. I'm impressionable.
We are going to do Brick, but not this week.
No, we're skipping it for some reasons.
Brick skipping, everybody.
Skip the bricks. It's like you try it. If you could do it in an ocean or lake or something, you're a champion.
So if you were coming for that, still come for it 2 weeks from now, but also, not from now, but from Thursday, 1 week, and just 1 week from then anyway, so almost 2 weeks from now. But
we have lost the listener.
If you do want to come for something, we're going to talk about Bohemian Rhapsody. We're going to talk about... Was there one other thing we knew we were going to talk about, I feel like?
I don't know. We'll find out.
I don't know. We're going to do a rest of the show, a hodgepodge of sorts. So we will still have words, and you will still enjoy them.
All right.
But for now, this is over.
Okay. Bye.